This week in gaming, Lost Odyssey, GOG, and Toy Story 3 gained Xbox One back compatibility, The Banner Saga 2 came to Android and iOS, Wasteland 3 was announced and it'll have co-op, Blizzard gave free loot boxes to Overwatch players to apologize for downtime, Twitter user Drilly812 made this adorable loot box character, thanks for letting us share that, Drilly812, the UK-based Advertising Standards Authority is investigating Hello Games as to whether or not No Man's Sky was honestly advertised. Wadjet Eye's upcoming adventure, Lamplight City, has been revealed. It's a steampunk mystery game inspired by the works of Poe and Dickens. J.J. Abrams has confirmed that both Portal and Half-Life movies are coming, and Michel Ancel posted this to Instagram with the caption, "Somewhere in System 4. Thanks, #Ubisoft, for making this possible," implying that Beyond Good and Evil 2 may somehow still be alive. Somehow. Oh, and he also shared this weird shark man. This is One Rule Be Cool Gaming Weekly. First off, there was some drama this week, as Kotaku reported that 2K's Overwatch-ish game Battleborn would be going free-to-play. In case you've not heard, Battleborn and Overwatch were both released this year, and on the surface, they both look very similar. Look more closely, however, and you'll see that they play very differently. While they may both be shooty hero games, Overwatch is more like Team Fortress, whereas Battleborn is more like Dota. They're both good games, though Overwatch did score higher with critics on account of its being less convoluted than Battleborn, but thanks to the similarities between the two, and the incredible marketing that Overwatch received, ultimately Overwatch had to win out, and Battleborn's player numbers have thus far plummeted. Randy Pitchford over at Gearbox tweeted in response to the Kotaku article that there are no plans to convert Battleborn to free-to-play. And while he did say that they're looking at motivators to raise their PC player base, it would likely come in the form of a free trial, not a free game. Bear in mind that another 2K published game, Evolve, went free-to-play this year. Evolve was struggling mightily to retain players, and was regarded as a flop until it went F2P. Apparently, that's what it took to save the game, as the player base has grown wonderfully because of that move. Would the same sort of move help Battleborn? I can't say for certain. On the one hand, it would appear that way, but on the other hand, free-to-play first-person MOBA-ish game is kind of a niche that's been pretty well filled in this industry. What do you think? Would going free-to-play help Battleborn's player numbers? Hit us up on Twitter at OneRuleBeCool and let us know what you think. We'd be happy to share your thoughts on next week's episode.
Be the boss on Twitch with Twitch Prime.
Amazon is leveraging their ownership of Twitch.tv in interesting ways. This week, they announced Twitch Prime, membership to which comes free with an Amazon Prime subscription. A Twitch Prime subscription allows ad-free viewing of Twitch streams, along with little bonuses for such games as Hearthstone and Smite, which is in itself pretty interesting. How well this will turn out, I don't know, but it may work to entice more people to use Amazon Prime. Amazon Prime, in case you're unaware of it, is Amazon's subscription service that allows you to get deeper discounts on certain Amazon products, as well as free shipping and other perks. Cliff Harris of Positech Games announced this week that he's working on a new title, Production Line. You might be familiar with Positech Games. They're responsible for the Democracy series of games, as well as Big Pharma. Production Line looks to be something different. It draws inspiration from Factorio, and as you may guess, it puts you in charge of a factory. It's up to you to create an efficient car production line, with the goal of becoming one of the big players in the auto industry. If you're into simulation and tycoon games, you should definitely check out Production Line, though it'll be some while before it's available to play. Stick with us, as we'll be keeping an eye on it. Regarding No Man's Sky and the Advertising Standards Authority, the ASA has taken complaints about the game quite seriously. They're currently looking into discrepancies around the way that No Man's Sky was advertised in comparison to the way that it actually turned out. The investigation centers on the game's Steam page and trailers. Frankly, I'm hoping this investigation puts the whole mess to bed. On the one hand, yes, the No Man's Sky pre-release advertising was kinda misleading. It made the game look a lot more structured than it actually was. Large-scale space battles, for instance, don't actually happen in the game. But on the other hand, where was the ASA when Watch Dogs was out, huh? It's not as though there haven't been games with misleading marketing. Unfortunately for Hello Games, the insane hype behind their game only hurt them in the end. A pity, because from what I've heard, No Man's Sky is actually a good game. It's just not Half-Life or Minecraft: The Old Republic. So if the ASA finds some wrongdoing on the part of Hello Games, they can tell them to make changes to the way they advertise the game. And if Hello Games fails to comply, the ASA will take it up with advertisers, thus preventing Hello Games from advertising their game in certain places. We'll be keeping an eye on this case, so stick with us for that too. As per usual, we're inviting your commentary. Do you feel that there was too deep a discrepancy between the way that No Man's Sky was advertised and the way it actually came out? Let us know. In Pokemon Go news this week, Niantic has finally offered an explanation as to what went so horribly, terribly wrong with the game's launch back in July. And yes, we are tired of running the same trailer that they had since July. Make a new trailer, Niantic, come on. Anyway, in case you somehow missed it, the augmented reality animal cruelty simulator was massively popular over the summer, but it was unplayable at launch due to all the players bogging down the servers. Apparently, the game's backend utilizes the Google Cloud platform, and according to Niantic, the Pokemon Go players were utilizing more than 50 times the data than the platform was prepared to handle. Look at that graph. The yellow line represents what they were expecting, while the red line represents what they imagined the worst-case scenario would be. Pokemon Go, in reality, is the green line. According to a post on the Google blog, within 15 minutes of launching the game in Oceania, player traffic surged well past Niantic's expectations. The post there is pretty fascinating and notably informative. We'll have a handy link to it over on OneRuleBeCool.com if you'd like to check it out. That's not all, however. The Federal Trade Commission has received over 70 complaints regarding Pokemon Go, according to a Freedom of Information Act request filed by Polygon. Most of the complaints center around players losing money from the game's microtransactions, thanks to either server woes or because players were banned for some reason or other. Bear in mind, Niantic's support for Pokemon Go players who've lost items because of server issues has been less than stellar. Sometimes they're good and quick about making sure that you get what you paid for, other times they'll literally respond with a single letter after several weeks. I wish I was joking about that. Niantic's in an unenviable position right now. Here's hoping for the sake of the players that they get everything sorted.
You'll find yourself stranded in the middle of a desert. You must lead your caravan through the desert, but agonized by thirst, you know you won't last for long without fresh water.
In-game releases this week, trading simulator Caravan came to Mac, Windows, and Linux. In this game, you're put in charge of a caravan traveling across the Orient. You make stops in little towns on the Arabic Peninsula, and it's up to you to keep an eye on provisions, beware of bandits, and do the best that you can to make a profit. I've not heard a whole lot about Caravan quite yet, as it's still rather new, but that which I have heard has been quite positive. If you're looking for a game that combines stories from Arabian Nights with RPG elements and a trading sim, check out Caravan.
There's only one end to this war. We must learn the secrets of the Mascarenes.
One of the most original-looking games I've seen in a good long while, Macerata, Songs and Shadows, was released on Steam this week, and it looks stunning. This fully voice-acted Pause for Tactics RPG pretty much has me sold on its aesthetic alone. The look of the game is insanely beautiful. Regarding the backstory, it also seems pretty original. It's a fantasy set in the midst of a civil war between rich and poor, and it involves mystery, kidnapping, conspiracy, all that crazy stuff. If you'd like to try it out, there's a demo available to download on Steam as well. Macerata, Songs and Shadows is available for Mac and Windows.
Nothing is lost until death, and little is gained without it.
Welcome back to Umber, my friend. Welcome indeed.
There's a chance you're in the market for something crazy. Maybe you need a chaotic first-person game about doing parkour atop trucks in dangerous environments? No? Well, that's what you get with Cluster Truck, which came out this week and looks wonderfully crazy. Born during a game jam, Cluster Truck is just as I described it. You have to stay on top of moving trucks, try not to die, and never touch the ground. The game's gotten fantastic reception from players thus far and is well worth checking out if you're in the mood for something absolutely insane. Cluster Truck is out now on Mac, Windows, Linux, and the PlayStation 4. I've been informed that the Xbox One version of the game is finished and is set to be released sometime soon.
Do I have something in my teeth?
Why? Got a hot date?
I might.
Is this about Royal Guard number 3? I asked her out this morning and she said I wasn't her type. I can hear every word, you know.
If you're looking for an adventure game with a good sense of humor, might I suggest checking out King's Quest? Specifically, the new games, which are being released episodically. King's Quest Chapter 4, No Place Like Home, was released on the Xbox One, Xbox 360, PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, and Windows this week. I confess, I've only played part of the first chapter, but I really liked what I played. In this imagining of the world of King's Quest, you're going on adventures and such, but you're also retelling the story of your adventures to your granddaughter. It's a clever take on video game storytelling, and I have to say that some of the voice acting in there is top-notch. It includes the talents of Tom Kenny, who you may know for his work on SpongeBob, as well as Christopher Lloyd. Yes, Back to the Future Christopher Lloyd. It's absolutely worth checking out if you're looking for a good fun adventure. And now, a brief word from our sponsor.
Wow, somebody finally did it. And fishermen around the world say this lure will change fishing forever.
You tie a line to it, you throw it in the water, you pull it, and it catches fish. It's almost like they have to eat it.
That doesn't look like a fake bait. The Mighty Bite that's something.
Imagine a lure that will make fish bite hard, hold on, and refuse to let go until you hook them and reel them in. Say hello to Mighty Bite. And nothing catches a fish's attention better than a wounded bait fish. And that's exactly how Mighty Bite looks, sounds, smells, tastes, and feels. That's why fish cats say no to Mighty Bite. It's better than live bait. And get the Mighty Bite fishing system now.
Hey, Mighty Bite Hand 5. Woo!
Oh yeah!
In today's special TV-only offer, you get the original 5-cent fishing lure system, the Mighty Bite. You get 8 pre-rigged, ready-to-fish Mighty Bite lures in proven multiple sizes, shapes, and natural colors. So you're locked and loaded to catch everything from panfish to giant bass to trophy-sized saltwater game fish.
In crowdfunding news this week, Iron Tides has caught our attention. Iron Tides is a Viking-themed strategy game in which you lead a group of Vikings on the sea. It's rather cartoony and kind of silly looking, though the gameplay itself seems pretty solid. The game features permadeath for lost units and lots of exploration and loot to collect and such. Now, from the looks of things, the developers have put a lot of work into playtesting and balancing the elements of the game that exist thus far, so while every Kickstarter comes with an element of risk, I have a good feeling about this one. Iron Tides is set to be released May of 2017 for Mac, Windows, and Linux.
To raise funds for better sound design, more content, voice acting, and to help us build a town for the Vikings to come home to.
The single greatest thing you can do, other than backing our game, is to help us spread the word. We're currently on Facebook and Twitter on the quest to find epic loot. If you'd like to participate in our community challenges, please contact us.
And we'd love to hear back from you if you have any feedback.
Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks for tuning in.
Looking for more strategy? If so, you might want to take a look at Dungeon of Tsar, which is currently on Kickstarter and certainly has our attention. In this game, you're on a mission to reach the titular Dungeon of Tsar in order to sit on the throne of Tsar. To do this, you'll do battle with other players. It's a multiplayer PvP-focused title. It kind of looks like a board game. It draws inspiration from Final Fantasy Tactics and Advance Wars, as well as Pokemon and Warhammer. Dungeon of Czar is set to be released June of 2017 for Mac, Windows, and Linux, and at a later date, the Nintendo NX, assuming everything goes well. If you're looking for a good deal on some games you already own, great news. GOG Connect has returned. If you don't know what that is, it allows you to import games from your Steam library and bring them to GOG.com. You'll not lose anything on either account, but you will gain an extra DRM-free copy of the game on GOG's service. In case you're new to the world of PC gaming, GOG.com offers DRM-free versions of games, meaning that you can download them and play them offline without the need to be connected to any other service. The current batch of GOG Connect titles available are AI War Fleet Command, Anno 1404 Gold Edition, Baldur's Gate Enhanced Edition, Cossack Synthology, Dex, Hotline Miami, Hot Tin Roof, The Cat That Wore a Fedora, a personal favorite of mine, The Last Federation, Shadow Warrior 2013, Teslagrad, Ollie Ollie, The Incredible Adventures of Van Helsing Final Cut, The Master Plan, Two Worlds Epic Edition, X Gold, X Rebirth, and Ziggurat. If you're looking for a good deal on some games that'll allow you to make other games, we also have some great news for you. The Humble ClickTeam bundle is currently live. This bundle features ClickTeam Fusion 2.5, a piece of software that'll allow you to make games of your own. Now, this bundle includes the brand new Mac edition of ClickTeam Fusion 2.5. If you pay $1, you'll receive the software along with Rocket's source code, Oniken, Plantera, TikTok Isle, Necromonads plus its source code, but if you pay $7 or more, you'll also get the Universal Windows Program Exporter, the YOG, Five Nights at Freddy's Free, Quaddle and its source code, and Room 13. Now, for $15 or more, in addition to ClickTeam Fusion 2.5's Mac editor, you'll also get Concrete Jungle, a game that is a favorite of mine. It was built in ClickTeam Fusion. It's kind of an unusual hybrid of a competitive puzzle game with a city building / management game. It's very unusual, but it has a lot of personality and is absolutely worth checking out. Additionally, you'll also get the HTML5 exporter, Saucer Squad source code, Fusion Shape source code, Environmental Station Alpha, Install Creator Pro, iOS Exporter, Android Exporter, and ClickTeam Fusion 2.5 Developer Edition. It's quite a mouthful. All of this stuff is available at humblebundle.com. Finally, we have a trailer for the upcoming Scrap Galaxy, a local multiplayer spaceship construction and combat game. Basically, you build a crazy 2D spaceship, kind of like you would in Captain Remix Forever. Then, you and up to 4 other folks can locally battle it out. It looks like a lot of fun, and it's coming to PC sometime. Well, that's it for this week's game news. Be sure to follow at OneRuleBeCool on Twitter and Instagram, and be sure to visit our site, OneRuleBeCool.com, for awesome editorials on games, as well as handy links to the crowdfunding projects featured in this week's show. If you know me, you may know that I'm a big fan of FTL Faster Than Light, in spite of the shameful fact that I've not yet beaten it. It's a game that I've played quite a bit over the last few years. Perhaps it's because I'm too proud to search for a strategy online to win the game? Perhaps. Recently, I got my hands on Halcyon 6, Starbase Commander, a space strategy RPG that in some ways resembles FTL. It's drawn plenty of comparisons to that game, though it sets itself apart in several ways, sometimes for better, sometimes for worse. I've spent a while playing it, and these are my first thoughts. To explain the game, you've been put in charge of a space station, the titular Halcyon 6, a relic from a mysterious bygone alien race. Its origins are a mystery that humanity has been studying, Now you've been thrust into command of the station when mankind was attacked by a mysterious new race of spacefaring aliens known as the Shrew. Your superiors seemingly destroyed, it's up to you to take the lead on the station by researching new ships, sending out missions to fight the Shrew, as well as other threats, and by collecting and carefully managing resources. To describe the gameplay itself, it has multiple layers of strategy, each with their own unique gameplay. So, for instance, the Halcyon 6 isn't completely explored. It's this huge space station full of ruined ruins. You can assign officers to explore ruins and clear them out in order to build facilities for research and shipbuilding, rather like in XCOM or Fallout Shelter if that's more your jam. However, there is the chance that they'll find some hostile alien creatures living in the ship, which may have been some sort of interstellar zoo at some point in the past. Now, if your men do find these creatures, you can choose to ignore them, with potentially bad consequences, or you can choose to fight them. Should you choose the latter option, your officer will be accompanied by a couple of crew members to fight the creatures in turn-based RPG combat Final Fantasy style. Your party has attacks, and these attacks have effects. They may cause panic or vulnerability in enemies. The strategic element of combat lies in stringing together attacks in order to weaken and shut down enemies in between their attacks. Sending out ships to fight enemies and gather resources is somewhat similar. Your officers each have a different set of attacks, tied to their class, that they use in ship-to-ship combat. Much like when fighting creatures in the ship, the goal is to tie together attack effects in order to shut down enemies. Overall, I'm fond of the game's main elements. There's a good gameplay loop that's easy to get into, though I do wish it was a little easier to get out of. There's always a lot to be doing, whether it's sending ships around, engaging in battle, repairing ships, or training new officers. It just feels like the game lacks a good dropping out point, meaning that if you pause and save the game, when you return you may find yourself a little bit disoriented, more so than in other strategy games such as Civilization V or FTL. My other issue with the game, when compared to FTL, is that random events don't feel momentous or significant. For instance, a crew member might fall into your dark matter, costing you an insignificant amount of stuff, while nothing bad happens to the crew member. These random events seem more like minor nuisances, not because of whatever losses occur, but because they seem so small and irrelevant in the grand scheme of things. They just don't raise the stakes. The game's sense of humor and storytelling, I must say, is quite good thus far. Every so often you'll be in communication with one of the various alien species from around the universe. Their ambassadors ranging in personality from glib, silly, to bellicose to the point of absurdity. Even though you're fighting for the future of humanity, the game's tone is surprisingly amusing. Thus far, I'm really enjoying Halcyon 6, and can recommend checking the game out if you're looking for a good space strategy title with a nice sense of humor and addicting gameplay. Just be warned, while it is easy to get into, it can be tricky to get out of. So, does Halcyon 6 look like your sort of game? Hit us up on Twitter at OneRuleBeCool and let us know.